Newly uncovered evidence by the 9 on Your Side I-Team shows surprising penalties for some heroin dealers.
I-Team Chief Investigator Craig Cheatham is live with why they are not going to prison. Craig.
We're in the Madisonville. Convicted heroin traffickers who lived here. 6 of them got probation. Now, the I-Team's investigation covered all of Hamilton County, and our findings surprised even veteran cops and angered many of the people who are still grieving loved ones killed by heroin.
This is where he is laid to rest.
When Amy Russ visits the grave of her youngest child, Eric, she remembers his smile, kind heart, and the morning she found his lifeless body.
He was kind of half in his bed and half out of his bed, and I start shaking him and screaming for him. I think I was in shock.
He's 27. I think he must have OD'd on heroin.
Amy called 911. Eric had died from an overdose of heroin and fentanyl.
It was too late. He had been gone too long.
This grieving mother wants convicted heroin traffickers sent to prison. But an I-Team investigation found in Hamilton County, they are routinely put on probation, even dealers with prior convictions who pleaded guilty to selling fentanyl, a drug that is 50 times stronger than heroin.
The person that sold my son fentanyl, to me, killed my son.
The I-Team identified 164 heroin dealers charged, convicted, and sentenced in Hamilton County since January 1, 2016. Our investigation found that 43% of them received probation, and half of the traffickers who also sold fentanyl got probation. Dan Hills is the president of the Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police.
We're not in a war on drugs, we're playing patty cake.
The I-Team found 9 heroin dealers with prior felony convictions had violated their current probation. 7 of them were kept on probation. Rico Ricks got probation for his 4th drug-related conviction. Even though Ricks violated his current probation, Hamilton County Common Pleas Judge Jerome Metz declined to send him to prison. Next week, Ricks is scheduled to plead guilty to drug possession in Indiana. Judge Metz did not respond to our request for comment. If the Ricks case had been referred to the DEA, the local agent in charge says he would have presented it to federal prosecutors.
He'd be an excellent candidate for a federal case.
DEA agent Tim Reagan says if convicted in federal court, drug traffickers often face longer prison sentences.
Today, I'll sit here and tell you, if we can figure out someone who's selling fentanyl or carfentanil, we'll take the case no matter how small it is. So,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's that important to us.
That means 29 Hamilton County drug traffickers now on probation would have been considered for federal prosecution, including those who sold carfentanil, a tranquilizer used on elephants that's 10,000 times stronger than morphine and is blamed for a sudden series of overdose deaths last year in Hamilton County. 3 defendants who pleaded guilty to trafficking carfentanil received probation.
The thing is, the risk doesn't outweigh the reward for the dealer.
Newtown Police Chief Tom Sinan, the head of the Hamilton County Heroin Coalition Task Force, says he's tried in vain to get tougher penalties for repeat heroin traffickers and those who sell fentanyl and carfentanil. But with prisons and jails overcrowded, there's a renewed focus on less expensive, community-based programs like probation.
This is the way the system is at the moment. It is overwhelmed.
As long as these people are let back out on the street, more people are going to die.
In 2015, 3,050 people died from drug overdoses in Ohio. Eric Russ was one of them.
They're getting away with murder.
The 9 on Your Side I-Team found cases where heroin dealers with 10 to 50 grams of heroin were given probation. And we also found a case where someone was convicted of selling less than 1 gram of heroin and was sentenced to a year in prison. Craig Cheatham, 9 on Your Side.